Hi Virgo, welcome to your reading for September 2024. How are you doing, Virgo? How was your August? How did you cope with the Mercury retrograde? Mercury was retrograde for most of August. So, did you have any experiences? I didn't really get much. As usual, nothing much happens to me around that time. I had a few minor technical glitches, but I know other people around me have dealt with massive technical glitches constantly. I've had people talk about having disagreements with others and people around them having arguments, which, communication is something that can happen around this time. There can be issues with contracts. No one's mentioned anything like that to me yet, but that can be an issue that comes up. One person had someone come back from their past. That's another thing that can happen that they hadn't had contact with for almost a few decades. So, yeah, what was your experience? Feel free to share. So, well, first of all, the first thing I want to say is, not sure who this will be relevant for, but the dreams that you have, I dream quite every night. Like for me, if I don't dream, that's unusual for me, and I have quite intense. I've always had really vivid dreams, dreamt about dead relatives. It's normal for me to dream about dead relatives. If I don't dream about them, that's abnormal. But yeah, so the last dream that I can remember, I was dreaming about, I think it was wasps or bees. It felt more like wasps, and they were absolutely massive. So that was really weird. So I dreamt about that. And then as I was setting up this morning, I opened the windows to, let some fresh air into the room, left the room briefly, came back in, and there was a wasp in the window, which that doesn't typically happen. So I don't know if that's relevant for anyone, if wasps are relevant. Maybe it's a spirit animal or something. Not sure. You may want to look that up, or it may be relevant for you. But other than that, right, so I did your pre-reading meditation. Yours came in so fast, I was worried that I wouldn't remember it all. I had to, as soon as it was done, I had to write it down and think, I'm not going to remember all this, because I got a lot of keywords in there. Like there was a visual, but there were a lot of keywords. So, and I just want to point out, your pre-reading meditation has a similarity to Capricorn. So if Capricorn is significant in your birth chart, you may want to watch that reading as well. Theirs was to do with like potions and experimentation. Yours, the first thing that I saw was a cauldron. And I saw a cauldron, and then I got the word stirring the pot. So I was wondering to myself, does it mean someone's going to be stirring the pot or stirring things up? Or is it literal? So that could be, take it as you will. That could be relevant either way. I then saw someone literally stirring a pot with like a wooden spoon or whatever, and putting ingredients in. And then I got the phrase cooking up a storm. So again, it was like, it was twofold. It was like, so cooking up a storm, literally, it could be someone literally cooking up a storm. Maybe you are trying out a lot of cooking recipes and stuff like that at present. It could also be metaphorical in terms of the, like the creating something. And the cooking up a something, again, it was that whole, that, the stirring the pot side of things, where it's stirring things up, like stirring shit up. That kind of cooking up a storm came to mind, although no, I don't think anyone's ever said cooking up a storm as in stirring things up, to be honest, but like creating a storm, creating chaos or something to that effect. But that did come to mind. I did see some ingredients being added. I specifically remember seeing a carrot and there were herbs as well, and the other stuff I couldn't tell. I think salt actually I saw, and I couldn't really tell what else was being added. The words brewing, stewing, simmer came to mind. I saw the person brewing whatever was being cooked do a taste test. They seemed satisfied with the taste test. Then they turned it off, walked out of the kitchen, switched the light off, and just left it at a standstill. The word alchemize specifically came in. So alchemize came in. I saw that what was in the pot began to it became like green, like a fluorescent green, and started bubbling. And I got that same color in the Capricorn reading, and it made me think of the heart chakra. So for some, it could relate to the heart chakra. For others, you might have other meanings for the color green that are relevant to you. And yeah, it was left at a standstill. It did start bubbling and alchemizing, and then it's like it was being left alone till it was just right. Like nobody returned to it. It was just left to its own devices. So that was your pre-reading meditation, Virgo. As I've said to the other signs, sometimes the meditations can directly relate to the reading, or sometimes it can be just a completely separate message in itself. Like in Leo's reading, their pre-reading meditation was just completely nothing really to do with the reading. It was just something separate that might have only been for one person. But anyway, we're going to get into it for you. So these are the decks today that we're going to be using. I'm starting off with a message from the Witch's Wisdom. So let's get into that for you. What does Virgo Sun, Moon or Rising need to know? What does Virgo Sun, Moon or Rising need to know for September 2024? That's great because this big deck and my small hands struggle to work together, so I'm glad it's come out quickly. You have Witch Healer. Okay, so for some, that whole cauldron thing could be someone mixing up potions or something that are healing. And it looks like she's got, is that a crow or raven? And then she's got lavender in the basket as well. So I can think of one person who fits this perfectly, the Witch Healer. Well, actually, I can think of more than one, but yeah, there is a specific person on my mind. And also, look at the green. Look at the glowing green, because in the meditation, it was a fluorescent glowing green. And there were like, I don't know if I'd describe it exactly as these, I don't even know what you'd call this. Like, it looks like magic, doesn't it? But there was that kind of glowing, sparks of glowing whatever there as well. So it's interesting that that's there. Right, so I've made that blurry, haven't I? See if we can get it clear, and then I'll get the cards, the tarot cards out for you. Right, so what else do we need to know for Virgo Sun, Moon and Rising for September 2024? What do we need to know? Right, oh, wow, okay, very spiritual cards. You've got the High Priestess, she's in reverse. I'm going to leave her in reverse. So obviously the High Priestess, she knows, doesn't she? She's got the secret hidden knowledge. And then we have the King of Cups, who can be a spiritual teacher. He's very spiritual anyway, but he can be a spiritual teacher and a spiritual guide as well, and a spiritual advisor. So with the High Priestess being in reverse and the King of Cups being there as well, it might be time or a phase to be sharing more of your knowledge, whether it is just general knowledge that you have within you, whatever that is, or if you are very much on the spiritual side, it's encouragement to share, to open up and share more of your spiritual knowledge with others. Right, so let's get the rest of the cards out. Especially with the High Priestess being in reverse, that can be a sign to open up, because she's usually silent, isn't she? So we have the Page of Wands, which is making me think of a student, and it can be a messenger as well, with the birds there as well. These birds, I'm not good with the birds, but there is someone that I did a personal reading for a couple of days ago, and I specifically saw these bluebirds, and at first I thought it was a literal bluebird, but because it had a yellow beak, when I looked up bluebirds, bluebirds don't have yellow beaks, so then I looked up bluebirds with a yellow beak, and it was actually a blue finch. So I don't know if that's relevant for someone, because this one, can't tell if the beak is yellow, but it looks, it's hard to tell actually, but it's a bluebird either way. But yeah, messengers, students potentially, people waiting to hear your messages. So that could be confirmation for someone if you've been thinking about sharing more of your spiritual wisdom and knowledge and guidance. Yeah, there's people waiting for that. Right, Knight of Wands. Four of Cups. Bear with me, they've gone everywhere. Right, so these have flipped, but I'm going to try that again because that was very chaotic. Just bear with me a minute. This is a very slippery deck. So just give me a minute to... Oh, okay. I've just picked up the Temperance card, and that is connected to alchemy, actually, and spirituality as well. Okay, try that again. So one more. Okay, There we go. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Well, I would say the first thing that comes to mind with that Wheel of Fortune is it's time. It's time, and it doesn't necessarily mean right this second, but it's time to begin. So let me just have a general look at the card. So as I say, it looks like, yeah, it is a time for you to share more of your spiritual knowledge. It looks like there are students that are ready, or there's people out there that will be waiting to hear the messages for you. I think that Knight of Wands is kind of indicating like choosing, there's a need for you to decide, well, first of all, to take the challenge up and what direction you're going to take it in. Four of Cups here. I know that the Four of Cups can often be about dissatisfaction and stuff like that. This one for me is I mean, look at him, he's meditating. He's clearly looks like he's meditating. So to help you decide what direction to take this in and how to go about this, you may need to meditate or just contemplate heavily how you're going to do this. You know, go into your feelings and make a decision, and then that will help. I mean, to be frank, it looks like with the Wheel of Fortune there, the universe is already saying, yeah, it's time to go. You don't really have much of a choice. You're getting a push from the universe, but there obviously you need to take things into consideration as well. Let's look at that Witch Healer card, and then we'll get clarifiers. So that's just the general, and then I'll go deeper into the cards. It opened on the page straight away. That is very strange. I just flipped it open and it was on there. So I'll read the whole thing. It says, honor who you really are, a natural healer who's come far. The witch in you is very real. Trust your work to help and heal. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. So it says, mystery and magic of the old ways beckons you to tap into the ancient wisdom of those who walked the path before you, and to recognize that you are one and the same. For within your blueprint you carry the wisdom of the natural healer. The witch within asks you to connect with the knowledge and wisdom that you have accumulated from many lifetimes. For it is time to harness your abilities to help heal yourself and others. Seek the wisdom of teachers who mark the land, such as standing stones and trees within a grove, who have absorbed each detail of spent centuries and hold the key to the past. Gather ingredients from plants and fungi, that's the ingredients from the meditation. Unlock your herbal knowledge in order to work with recipes for tinctures, elixirs, and healing potions. I love that. You are a wise and strong healer. There is nothing to fear and everything to gain when witch crosses your path. The Witch's Foresight says, you are a natural healer. You have a natural affinity with plants and herbs. Study to qualify as a herbal practitioner. Excuse me. Use complementary medicine and aromatherapy to heal. You benefit from the healing energies of nature. Honor its rhythms and cycles. Someone might want to consider, if you're going to be doing meditation or anything to help you decide how you're going to go about things, you might want to literally be out in nature to do it. With trees and grass, etc., being closer to nature. Right, so the witch revealed, it says, nature calls to women and men to walk the craft of the wise in balance, integrity, and honor. By honoring the god and goddess, lord and lady, and understanding the role of the high priestess, priest, a witch can transform and change all she touches for the greater good of all. This is done by combining knowledge and wisdom, both old and new. Right, so I would say for the most part, it looks like you're going to be the one sharing your knowledge. For some, you may be the one seeking, seeking knowledge from someone who is spiritual, or even if you're already spiritual, you might be seeking more guidance yourself to develop even further. Let's get into the clarifiers here. I love the way that connected with the pre-reading meditation. So yours clearly was connected to your reading today. Yours wasn't a random message. Let's get something for the High Priestess and the King of Cups, because that is like the key theme here with everything. What else do we need to know, if anything? So I would say that Two of Cups is connecting. It's time to connect more in terms of sharing your spiritual knowledge, spiritual understanding, or if you're going to be the one receiving that, it's about connecting. I've said before that the Two of Cups for me can feel like a psychic exchange. Sometimes it can be telepathy or just being psychic in general. So somebody might be specifically developing psychic abilities, or sharing telepathy. Let's see what else comes up for you. You've got the Death card. And I admit I know what the word alchemize means, but when I got that word specifically, I thought, let me just go and check. This is something I do quite often with words. Even if I know what it means, I'll go and check. I'm one of these people that loves thesauruses and dictionaries, because I just like to get the full picture of things. So I checked again, and transform was a big word that came up with that. So change, transformation with the Death card there. So changing how you, or transforming how you use your abilities, or if you're just stepping into that now, that comes to mind. We've got the Two of Wands. So again, that's choosing the path, choosing how you're going to go about it, I think, for the most part. Or if you're brand new, choosing who to go to, where to go. You might even be, if you are getting into spiritual stuff, you might be someone who's deciding what do I want to focus on. Obviously, there are different options. There's the tarot cards, like Reiki, psychic related stuff, mediumship. With the Death card and the Two of Cups, that could represent mediumship as well. Healing practices, herbs, there's all sorts. You might be deciding which one do I want to focus on. One of them, a couple of them, all of them. You know, you might be exploring, even with the clear senses, there's multiple clear senses, and you might be thinking, which one do I resonate with more? Which one am I best at? What do I want to try and develop more? So let's see what else comes up. Just get one more for that. Yeah, you're assessing your different options and perspectives and how to go about things. We have the Ace of Swords and the 10. So that's the clarity there. 10 of Swords. Why is the 10 of Swords there, please? Just get one for that. So I've got the Six of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles there for the 10 of Swords. There's one message that's coming up there about helping those who have struggled or are struggling on their path. I almost feel like as well, there might be something here with that 10 of Swords to do with the dark night of the soul, if somebody's been through that or going through that, and getting help on that path as well with the dark night of the soul with the 10 of Swords. It can, again, also the whole mediumship thing, because the 10 of Swords is the endings, isn't it? It can be assisting people to move on. Mediumship can help people to move on, so that can come into it as well with that 10 of Swords. But it can also be that it's like because we've got the Death card there, you've ended one part of your journey spiritually. And sometimes that can be painful, can't it? Like awakenings. Awakenings can be difficult and painful. It's like moving on to the next. But it's like another thing that comes to mind. Say if you've been through a spiritual awakening, it can either be one big awakening, multiple awakenings. I'm just thinking it's the whole thing now. It can be anything and everything. If you are someone who's gone through a spiritual awakening, you may be deciding now that it's time that, because you've had that experience, you're ready to share what you've learned. You may have even become a healer or more spiritual because of that, and you're deciding, right, I've gone through that and now I want to use that to help others. I want to use that to help others because of what I've been through. I feel like I know more, and you've developed spiritually. The Hanged Man isn't here, but that would indicate that. Okay, let's put these away. I'll put them out of the way and we'll move on. And I will say, I know one person who I've spoken about spiritual upgrades with this week. So yes, if you're watching this, yes, spiritual upgrade, which you already know anyway, but just extra confirmation. Page of Wands, right? So we're looking at that as a past energy now. So obviously the original summary of the reading still stands, and then these are additional kind of ways of looking at the cards as well. So looking at it as a past energy, This is where I feel you would have answered the call yourself to become this kind of healer, spiritual guide, teacher, whatever. But it can also be where you realize that there are others that can benefit from what you've your experience and your knowledge as well. Up, up, okay. So these would be your experiences that you've overcome, or recognizing that you are able to help others overcome their experiences and challenges. Do we keep them? Yes, we'll keep them. We'll keep those two because they're upright. So we've got the Page of Pentacles, which is the student energy, isn't it? And then we've got the Five of Swords, which again is challenges, difficulties, challenges. I know it's usually typically a nasty energy, but it feels like challenges here. It can also be for someone who's experienced doubt in terms of their spiritual abilities. Yeah, it can be someone who's experienced doubt and you may have self-sabotaged in the past. So that can be a message for someone as well. Where you've thought, is this really what I should be doing? It can be resistance. I think that's confirmation for someone I know as well that I've spoken to. I thought that was the Four of Cups then. So there may have been resistance, but I think overall there was a recognition that there's a need to share, to explore, to progress, to grow, to develop spiritually, to share messages spiritually as well, because the Eight of Wands, it's messages, but they're wands, aren't they? So they can be spiritual. To receive messages spiritually if you're more in the student mode. So looking at the next card as a challenge, the Knight of Wands, as I said, it can be about deciding what direction to take things in. So let's see what else comes up for you. Five of Cups. So I would say Five of Cups, it can be a card of loss and grief. So again, for anyone pursuing mediumship, that's again, it's confirmation because of the whole grief aspect. And it's, as I said, it's deciding what direction to take it in, assisting those who are grieving. All right, bear with me because we have some that are falling and I need to decide what order they are in, although it's not, doesn't really matter. Okay, I think that is meant to be around about there. Just bear with me while I try and get these other cards without dragging the whole thing down. So we have the Six of Swords, we have the Justice card. Get one more. Three of Swords. So again, you may be more on the student side of things, or you may be more like the spiritual guide and teacher. So in terms of taking things in a direction, whatever direction you're going to take them in as a student, I guess again, well, this is a challenge, isn't it? So let me think of it as a challenge. Again, it's just overall deciding what direction you want to take things in. As a student, it's about pursuing the path where you get to move on. I think there's something about understanding the karma in a situation or in your life in general. There's something about understanding that and having an open mind and understanding why you've had certain experiences with that Three of Swords there. So it's exploring all of that if it's more a student. If you're more the student as a teacher, I suppose it would be helping others to understand that more, to help them resolve, and there's another word that's coming through, reconcile. And I don't necessarily mean reconcile in terms of like, and people are reconciling a relationship together, but like, and you make sense of things, reconcile in that way. So helping others to move forward, to go on their journey with the Six of Swords, spiritual journey, I would say, or just their journey in general. Again, to understand the karma, and not just the karma, but the rule, something about the rule. I guess the rules is the only word I can think of. So like if you're a spiritual guide or spiritual teacher, you're helping others to understand how that specific practice works, what the rules are, what the balance is. Yeah, that's the only way I can put it. So, you know, if you were teaching someone Reiki, you're helping them to understand how it works, how we use it, the purpose of us using it, the balance, how it balances, you know, that kind of thing. Again, you've got the open mind. So that can be the students. If you're the teacher, if you're more the teacher, that can be the students. But it also tells you to have an open mind as well. It does tell you to have an open mind as well, because teachers often learn from students, don't they? Let's just get something for that Three of Swords at the end. High Priestess. Okay, try that again. Getting an interesting thought with that. Although I do think that Page of Cups is relevant, to be honest, so I'm going to keep that. There's something here. Okay, there's a couple of things. There's about 3 different things coming in. I'm trying to like slow it all down. Where do I begin? So the Three of Swords, it can be about helping people to process pain. It can also be helping people to process fear. So like, even if you're helping people, like say you were helping people to develop psychic abilities, it's helping them to like become more confident and overcome their fears around that, in terms of how they receive and give messages. That's something that comes in. Again, another thing would be, you know, like if you're an empath and you're someone who's helping people who are empaths to manage their abilities better. It could be something like helping people to decipher between their emotions, the emotions of others, and how to sort of manage and protect themselves with that. As an empath, I can say it can be tough sometimes, because it's almost like sometimes you can't tell what's yours and what someone else's. And then especially if you're already going through difficulties as well. Like, for example, one thing that I've experienced is I can be experiencing my own stresses or whatever, but then I can be in an environment, or like if there's a lot of difficult shit going on in the world, which there usually is, but you know, like if there's a lot more, there's things that are more in the media at present of difficulties, it's like I have my own shit going on, but I can feel the rest of the world shit as well. And it's like, it makes it really hard, because I'm like, how much of it is mine and how much of it is the rest of the world as well? And it's just a lot. It really can get overwhelming. So there's that side of things. There was something else coming in. Again, going back to mediumship, and just anything where you're using the clear senses in general, it's making sense of all of those feelings and, you know, understanding everything. I think that was it. That was the gist of it. And again, just helping, if you're just helping people on their journeys in general, it's just helping them to gain an understanding of everything and to overcome things. So we'll leave that there. So that in terms of direction, yeah, what else can I say? I've pretty much said it. Obviously, you have choices to make there as well as a challenge, but it would be challenging working with people in that sense anyway, whether you are a student or more of a teacher. It is challenging doing that kind of work. And challenging doesn't mean bad. It just means it's a challenge. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of energy. It can be painful at times. It can be rewarding at times, but it's a lot. I'm just having a look again. Okay, yeah, I can't get anything else from that. But as I say, you have the choice as well. Like if you were choosing which spiritual path, that's your choice. Like the cards can't tell you what to choose. You get to decide what that is. And it might be difficult for you as well, even if you are a teacher, because you're around different people and their feelings as well. So for you as a teacher, you might find it hard, and obviously you're going to have your own life to live and stuff going on in your own life too, so that can be a challenge as well. So as an external influence, we've got the Four of Cups. So that's anything external to you that impacts things. I feel like saying connecting with others. There's something here about connecting with others is an external influence. Like maybe if you're becoming more of a teacher, who to connect with, and even if you're going to be more of a spiritual student as well, who do you connect with? Who's the best person? Who's the right person for you to connect with for your journey? I almost feel like, say if this is a teacher, that's the teacher. Well, whether it is a teacher or a student, This is the person who's wanting to connect, and I feel like the Four Cups around them, I don't know how to describe it. It feels like it's almost like scrying to discover who you need to connect with. Like the energy of the people that you'd want to connect with is in the cups. Or say if it was a spell, like the cups represent trying to connect with different people. I know that may sound a bit odd, but that's what it kind of feels like. So I've got a few here, right? We've got the Hanged Man, spiritual development, Queen of Wands, and I believe the Queen of Wands is one of the queens that is most likely to be a teacher, if I remember correctly. Hermit is a guide, it's a spiritual guide. However, okay, I'll get back to that in a minute. I do have a couple of thoughts on that, but let me get some more cards out. The word reaching out, I think, is coming to mind with that Hermit. Reaching out, reaching out. We've got the Sun in reverse, and we'll get one more for that. The Fool, okay. There's something about uncovering, and again, that kind of open mind energy with the Sun in reverse and the Fool, or the need for that. So again, as I say, it's an external influence. So it's that Hermit is key here, because that can represent your energy again as a teacher. That would be, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, and it's like having that guiding light there and attracting. And the Queen of Wands is an energy that is known to be like attracting as well, in terms of like manifestation and stuff like that. She attracts what she needs to her. It really does feel like the Four of Cups represents like connecting with the right people, whether it's looking for someone to guide you or you're guiding them, and having that guiding light there, and to see who's drawn to it, basically. Who's drawn to it. The Fool would be the open mind. So it's the open mind of the people you're going to teach, if you're the teacher, or it's you having the open mind and being able to see the guiding light. Okay, yeah, the Sun's there. That is a light, isn't it? You as a student being able to see the light of the right teacher. But it can also be with the Hermit being there as well, that if you're a student, it would be you being on your own path of discovery. But as we said, you may be ready for a teacher now, and it's like you have your light, but you have to, his eyes closed. His eyes are closed. You as a student, if you're the student, you may have your eyes closed and have your own guiding light, but it's time now to open your eyes so that you can see who the right teacher is for you. So there's an external influence. What's impacting things is connecting with all of the right people, or the right person. The right environment as well comes to mind with that Four of Cups. There's something about the right environment too. And let's look at the Wheel of Fortune. So this is something that is either that you need to be more aware of, or something you need to acknowledge more. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that the universe is saying it's time. Right now, you need to be more aware that the universe is saying it's time, which you probably could be aware of already. Anything else for the Wheel of Fortune? It's time for a new cycle, so yeah, it's time. And the Wheel of Fortune, double confirmation, it's time. It's time to make things a physical reality with the King of Pentacles there. I would say you're ready. Whatever end of the spectrum you are on, whether you're the teacher, the guide, it's time to make it a reality now, or to begin at the very least. Seven of Swords. For some, it may feel risky, especially if you've not really gotten into spiritual stuff before. It may feel risky in that sense, or if you've never been a teacher before, it might feel risky. You may have other reasons it might feel risky for you. And also, it's time to bring what's in the dark into the light, what's hidden into the light with the Seven of Swords. So again, as a student, doing this kind of spiritual stuff, it brings up stuff that you may not have even realized was there within you. And then as a teacher, you're helping others to see what they didn't even necessarily know was there. To see what was hidden. Knight of Pentacles is about taking the steps, the necessary steps. Anything else? Two of Pentacles, it's getting on with it, isn't it? It's doing what needs to be done. Both the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles are about doing what needs to be done. We've got the Queen of Cups in reverse here. So it's about opening, feels like opening up your heart. Remember I said that green was there? And we have got a bit of green on the table here as well. It's about opening up your heart. The green was one of the meanings of it is to do the heart chakra. So again, for students, it may be about opening up your heart more to spirituality possibly, or to new levels of spirituality as a teacher. Maybe it's about you having more space within your heart or within your energy for more students. What else was I going to say about that? I think that was it. And also as a teacher as well. So opening your own heart and your space up more to others, but also helping others to open up their hearts and their space to whatever it is you're going to be teaching them. Right, let's get a card for the future for this. So possible future outcomes, upcoming events, anything that we need to know. You've got loads. You've got the Hierophant there. Right, so we have the Fool who's in reverse. The Hierophant. There's planning involved. There's going to be some planning involved in this. So as much as it's saying to make this a reality, it's time to make this a reality. I feel like the future, however long that is, it could be just for the next couple of weeks, next month, next couple of months, whatever. I think this is the planning stage of things now, but it is still, the planning is part of making it a reality. Let's get a card of guidance for you. So this, I feel, is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be planning things. And again, there's that whole thing about needing to have a really open mind as well. Queen of Wands in reverse. For anyone that's feeling like they don't 100% have the confidence, or even if it's not about self-confidence, it's just in terms of 100% confident in what you're going to be doing, the structure, what direction you're going to take it in. It's encouragement to build that up in this time. So planning and building that up during this time. That's the guidance. Right, let's look at the future, the Fool, Hierophant, and the Two of, and you might be breaking the rules as well, actually, with the Fool being in the Hierophant. It might be about breaking the rules, especially if this is something you haven't done before. Breaking the rules, breaking the mold, trailblazing, that kind of thing. Breaking the rules with the Tower, because the Tower for me, that can be like, it's breaking old structures down, isn't it? Breaking the mold for someone really could be breaking the mold in what they're doing. There's the courage, element of courage that's needed, and will to follow through. Ace of Pentacles, again, for me, sometimes when the Ace of Pentacles and other cards as well are in reverse, it's like a work in progress. Or even creating an opportunity that wasn't there before. So again, we've got the Queen of Swords. It feels like the planning, again, planning, preparation, etc. The Queen of Swords is quite wise and knowledgeable, but planning is necessary here. And with the Nine of Wands, it may feel like a lot of work. It may feel like a lot of work with the Nine of Wands. Let's get a couple for that. Yeah, it's considering how much work it's going to take, but there's a desire for this. There's a strong desire for it. There is a desire for it, but it may be a lot of work. Or, like if you were a student and you're new to spirituality and you're deciding that you're going to do it, you might be thinking, oh my God, what am I getting myself into here? But even beneath that, there's a desire to do it. And you may have thought about it for a long time as well with that Three of Wands, because that's distance, isn't it, and time. So it can be that you've thought about it for a long time, but you're ready. And also with the Three of Wands and the Knight of Cups, so the Knight of Cups can be connected to like a psychic type energy as well. It may be that there's been like, it's been your calling for a while. Whether you are a student or a teacher, it's been your calling for a while. You kind of known it's there, but you may have been dealing with other stuff in life. And so it's been like something in the distance, like you may have considered it and it's just been like, oh yeah, when I've got free time or whatever, I'll do that. But it's been there in the background. So let's look at that Queen of Wands. And I would say as well, for some, so I've talked about breaking the mold and breaking the rules. Yeah, I think I've already said it, that some may have, it may feel difficult. Someone may be in two minds about whether or not to go for it. You might be like, say if you were someone who was very religious or brought up in a strict religious background that completely was against spirituality type, you know, the woo-woo sort of stuff. Someone might be in two minds thinking, oh my God, should I really do this? Is it the right thing to do? Is it blasphemous? You know, that kind of thing. Someone might be thinking in those terms, and it's like that's their way of breaking the rules or breaking the mold. Let's look at the Queen of Wands. So that would be one reason that you'd need to confidently go into it, is if you felt like it was, you weren't sure if it was something you should do or not. It's like, have the confidence to go for it. Try that again. What else do we need to know for that Queen of Wands, please? There's the fear with the devil. Fear with the devil, but Nine of Cups. It's you'll be very satisfied if you do this. You'll be very, very satisfied. It's going to be very, very empowering for you, even if it feels like hard work. And there's satisfaction in overcoming the fears as well. Yeah, there's fear, there's anxiety, there's uncertainty about whether or not you should do it. So again, for the person I'm thinking of where there's been resistance, it's extra confirmation on top of confirmation on top of confirmation to go for it. So again, whether you're student or teacher, any fears, doubts, anxiety, whatever, very satisfactory, very empowering, and you need to yeah, it's time to step up, basically. Right, so let's get you a final card of guidance from the Empresses at the bottom of the deck. So it's something that will be very nurturing, whether you're receiving the nurturing or you're doing the nurturing, and it's the birth of something new as well. So final message from the Crazy Unicorns deck. That the artwork is great. It's just a very strange deck. What do we have? We have not a street lamp clarity. So the final bit of guidance, again, it's the planning, isn't it? It's getting clear on everything about how you're going to do it, what you're going to do, what you're going to pursue, and even just being clear that you are going to pursue this, that you're going to go for it. So is that clear? Yeah, let's read it from the book. So it says, the transformation message says, the night is dark and the path is long, hope is gone and all is grey. But what's this? Suddenly bursting forth is a light to lead the way. A simple lamppost illuminates the path. Some walk by it without a glance, but it is light, a miracle pure and clean, enriching the path so that all can see it. Remember what I was saying about the hermit, about the light, needing to see the light of who to connect with, and, you know. So it says, in this realization, the transformation occurs. The illuminated unicorn is beaming forth hard at work. The meditation says, reflect on the boundless nature of light and the way it travels and enriches a space. Even the simplest lamppost is a unicorn in its own way. Visit with the illumined unicorn and see the nature of light, the eternal beam. The affirmation says, I am light, I shine. The action says, lights on, lights off. Just thinking of that meditation where the lights got switched off. This is a fun game. Break off into teams and start to play. One team turns the lights on and the other tries to snuff them. Running for switches and lamps while shouting out, stop them. The entire house becomes a playground filled with laughter. Which team are you on? Yeah, lights on or lights off. Do you want to be open to this or do you want to ignore it? I think that's the question, but I'm guessing that for many, you're going to want to go for it. So I'll leave it there. Hopefully September is great for you. I'd love to hear what's going on with this for everyone, how this resonates for you. Other than that, hopefully you have a great week and a great day, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks for mid-month check-ins. Take care.